Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Medical Monday.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
This week, we're going to be going over weight loss. Now,
Yes.
weight loss is important because actually Hippocrates, 2,500 years ago, noted it in his medical journals. It's been around for a long time.
Very long time. Did you actually interned with Hippocrates, didn't you?
Not quite that old.
Oh, okay.
But, obesity is a problem. We've seen it for decades and decades increase here in America. And then it kind of plateaued off in the 2000s. However, severe obesity continued to rise. And then after the 2000s, we now see this steady increase more and more. There's actually a famous doctor down in Houston called Dr. Nowzaradan, and he made a show. You may have seen it. It's called My 600-Pound Life or whatever. But he did gastric bypass for patients that were over 600 pounds. Now, normally that's somebody that they don't do surgery on, but because of the severe obesity is such a problem, that is one of the ones that he specializes in right here in Houston.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I like to describe it. I actually learned this from a patient, is chasing your fork. That's what we end up doing.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans specifically, what they do is they live a lifestyle to be able to eat what they want to eat and do what they want to do, and they kind of just chase their fork through the process. So they'll lose 30 pounds so they can have Thanksgiving dinner, or they'll do something to be able to eat ice cream every night. And so it's this chasing fork epidemic that's happened where we just kind of do what we want to do.
You don't want that to happen.
No.
Because obesity is, by the CDC, is linked to pretty much every disease process that we have.
One. Yes.
Obesity increases what we call your mortality and morbidity rate for any disease process out there. So it's very important. And it's also important kind of at a young age, because what we see is about 80% of kids that are obese will be obese adults. It carries through with them through puberty, and it carries through them through adulthood. And that just is a very unhealthy way of living. So that's why we're here today, to talk about weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things that I like to talk about is our food is our fuel. So if you have a really nice car and it says to only put premium gas in it, you're not going to put low grade gas in it because it's not going to run as efficiently. And it's the same thing for our body. So we have to definitely watch how much are we eating and how much of what are we eating. It's okay to have those yummy treats sometimes, but are you having them all the time, and to what caliber?
If you put premium gas in your car because it says so, why don't you treat yourself that way?
Exactly.
Put premium products in yourself. Make that a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is 8 root causes. There are 8 main root causes of weight gain. And these are just kind of throughout our lives. Candida is a big one. Candida actually affects the lining of our gut, and it causes what should actually be a really tight space in there to open up. And what that causes is for these hormones and things that are not designed to be in the bloodstream to actually leak into the bloodstream. So it should be tight and it opens up, and therefore we just get all kinds of inflammatory things.
Because yeast is basically from the sugars. So those sugars, those high sugar content, there's more types of soda than there's ever been, and they're broadly displayed at every gas station. You've got 14 shelves of sodas and then like half of a shelf of different types of water. So it's the sodas, it's the amount of carbohydrates, things that we're eating, just these sugars, that's what the yeast lives on. And when you have this inflammatory process in your gut that creates these gaps, it then leaches into the body.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And then we have hormone problems with that. So whether it be coming from the thyroid or from the gut or from metabolic problems, hormone problems is an issue. We have brain-based food cravings that happen. We have certain triggers, Pavlov's dogs, right? We have certain triggers that make us want to eat something specific, whether it be ice cream or a burger or French fries. Like, it's just something makes us crave that. So we have those brain-based food cravings. And toxins. Toxicity is a huge one. It really is. We sometimes don't even realize the toxins we're putting in our body.
But look at all the processed foods we have out there. I mean, you have so many chemicals that are involved in making and preserving these foods, that these toxins now can, just like the candida, can leach into your body because of your guts just not able to handle it.
Yeah. And then another big one is, I talked about chasing our forks. Portion control, truthfully, like a huge part of what causes weight gain is we're eating more than we're burning off. And so definitely managing how much you're eating and to what portion is super important. And that's actually one of the things you can do at home, just starting with monitoring your quantities and how much you're eating.
That's a hard thing to do. You always talk about portion control with patients, and you've been to a restaurant. Nothing in that restaurant meal is anywhere near what we would consider what we want for portions. They are extremely large, and that's because actually back in the 80s, food prices, farmers were so good at farming that they produce such amount of food that now the food prices are reasonable.
Mhm.
So restaurants had a choice to make. They said, do we slash our prices or do we just increase our portions?
Mhm.
Well, of course they're not going to slash their prices. That doesn't make a lot of business sense. So they just increase the portions. And now in our mind, when we see these portions and we go out to eat, we feel as though, you know, did your mom tell you you had to clean your plate?
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
that's just ingrained into us.
Mhm.
So we really got to break that habit, and we can do it right here.
Yeah.
Behind us is a
With your
very
hand.
easy model.
Mhm.
You use your hand.
Yeah.
So you look at here's protein, should just be the palm of your hand. That's the amount of protein that you should be eating. And of course, the vegetable we see is about the size of your fist.
Yep.
But we see the very small portion on there, the
thumb.
right here, the thumb.
For
That's
fat.
fats. Fats are needed. Now, your body needs them for cholesterol and hormones so that we think straight and also our body functions properly. But, you know, you can actually get a lot of your fats that you need from the proteins right here.
Yes, that's
So
very true.
the fats, you know, there's a very, very small portion of your diet should be made up of us increasing fats into the meals that we cook and prepare for ourselves.
Yeah, and that is very true. We do like our butter in this country. And then also carbs, right? We talked about carbohydrates. Carbs should just be a little bit, almost like the scoop of your hand. If you were to turn it into a scoop, just the whatever fits in the palm of your hand, it's about a quarter of a cup to a third of a cup. And carbohydrates turn into sugars, and that's actually what candida lives off of. So if we're eating too much of certain things, they actually turn into the stuff that causes a lot of these problems. And this is a great tool because you take 2 of them with you everywhere you go, and it's quite easy to see how much you're eating while it's on your plate.
Yep.
And then what happens if we're not eating enough of a specific thing, whether we talk about vegetables or proteins? Vegetarians, vegans, a lot of times they have to supplement in ways, and so supplements are a great option to help in through this transition. Not the best option specific for weight loss, but definitely a great option as you go through this process to make sure you're supporting yourself with the proper fuel that your body needs, because we live off of vitamins and minerals.
Great option as far as personal trainers. Now, we want accountability. Whenever you're going through anything, whether it's a loved one, you know, it's always better when you do it with a partner. So it's phenomenal to have personal trainers. They're in abundance, and they are very well trained to make it specific for you. Now, it's your body type, it's your age, it's your exercise level, everything that you would think is now there. You know, personal trainers before, you know, just a couple of decades, we would look at it as a kind of one size fits all. But now it's so individualized for you, the patient really. It is phenomenal that you can get the results and help keep that accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. The accountability is key, because as you set your goals and where do you want to go and what are we working towards, those trainers are actually there to help you through that process. So absolutely phenomenal resource. And a lot of times they specialize or are very passionate about specific things. So it's always a great idea to make sure you kind of do some research and find one that works best for you. Yep. And then also another great option is find a nutrition or a dietitian. I don't know everything. I don't know if you know everything.
Nobody does.
Find somebody that knows everything about what you need to know.
That's why we have specialists.
Yes. And so dietitians and nutritionists are specialists in the field of what we're eating and how much you should be eating. So definitely work with that. Find somebody that you jive with that can help you, whether it be meal prep, whether it be, you know, supplementation, cooking tips. Absolutely. And a lot of times you can find dietitians and nutritionists that will do like a home presentation where they'll present how to cook a meal easily in front of you that's healthy and easy. And they do it significantly more efficient in a stranger's kitchen than I do in my own kitchen.
Sometimes, you know, it just helps to see, because we always think it's difficult. Everything seems difficult. But when you actually have a professional come over and show you just how easy it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, absolutely. I can do that. No big deal.
It's that easy. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a good medical Monday.
There
Don't
it
mean
is.
to toot our horn there. But sometimes there are options in regards to medical. Sometimes we just don't want to work as hard as we need to, and we still want to make results. So there are some medical options out there in regards to, you know, being able to go to your primary care provider.
And we've seen like FinFin in the past. Of course, it had some issues and was taken off the market. But, you know, right now, one of the biggest things that we see is Phenermine. Phenemine's a weight loss medication, basically kind of speeds your metabolism up, but there's a cardiovascular risk. So they've actually just recently switched. There's Kissimmee is a pretty good medication with a low threshold. It'll just kind of help speed your metabolism and help you as you work through lifestyle changes so that it's more permanent. It's not relying just on the medication. It's the medication to help assist you through the process.
Yes, and that's exactly what it's designed to do, is assist you through the process while you get yourself more motivated.
Right.
Get on the motivation train.
once you see 5 pounds gone, 10 pounds
I
gone,
know.
it
It's
starts to like,
exciting.
oh, you get excited, and then it helps
Yeah,
move
it
it
is.
more.
It's very exciting. And then also an option is gastric bypass.
Mhm.
Not everyone is a candidate for gastric bypass. This is something you have to pre-qualify for. There's a, essentially a regimen or a routine that you have to go through that's like a boot camp to make sure that you're ready for this process. And then also it is specifically designed around lifestyle change.
Yep.
Typically you talked about the gentleman, the doctor in
Dr.
Houston.
Nalzar,
Yep.
there's a big program before. It's a
Yes.
qualification.
And
You've got to show that you can do portion control. You've got to show that you can cut certain aspects of your diet out that are not wanted for your body, and that you also have the willpower to stick with it. Because gastric bypass, you can do it and lose some weight, but then you can also gain that weight
Gain it
right back
Yep.
if you don't fully buy into the lifestyle change that's needed to stay healthy.
Yes, and that's very true. It's very important when you go through that procedure. And it's a phenomenal resource for a lot of different people out there. But you know what else is phenomenal? The resources that we have here.
Oh, we got a few of them.
Yes, we do. We have a few different options in regards to weight loss programs. And sometimes we're in a hurry. I have a wedding to go to in about 3 weeks. And so I got to fit in a dress that I haven't worn in a few months. So sometimes we realize time has gone by faster, so we have less time to prepare for something. And we have a great weight loss option called HCG to help with that.
So HCG was developed from a physician that was in Africa, actually. And they were famished females, but what happened is they were pregnant and they actually delivered healthy weight babies. And how that occurred is because this hormone that your body produces when you're pregnant that forces the body at all costs to burn the fat for energy. So this hormone is really sex indiscriminate. A male or female can take this injection every day, and it forces the body to burn your fat for energy. And then what we do is we just decrease the amount of food that you eat on this diet. So therefore your fat is burned off in about 30 pounds in about 30 days is kind of what we see with it. But it's not a lifestyle change. It's not my go-to for patients. If a patient says, I've got a wedding, in 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I just forgot. Like, hey, we'll work with you. But really this is more of a quick fix and not our number one option here in the clinic.
It is not, but it's a very healthy alternative when we need to lose that weight fast.
Yep.
And then we also have one that focuses significantly more on lifestyle. I'm actually 2 weeks into this. I'm actually doing this at the same time as my older sister. And it's all about the gut-brain connection. This is all about cleaning up what we're eating, allowing a lot of that inflammation, the 8 root causes. This is all about getting that taken care of and under control. So a lot of clean eating, low inflammatory. So there are some things that I am not touching right now. One of them being coffee, but I've been quite pleasant. So
your gut-brain connection is phenomenal. Sugar is actually more addictive than heroin. And that is unfortunate because if you look on the shelves, most everything, especially processed foods, have multiple types of sugars in them.
Yes.
And that's actually designed from the manufacturer to get us to enjoy it and come back for more.
Yeah, because of that gut-brain connection. When we eat it, it sends triggers to our brain and it's like an endorphin release, right? And it makes us happy. Well, that happiness comes at a cost. So this is, it's called Trust Your Gut. It's a phenomenal program to help with that. Again, more lifestyle specific, but there is a great benefit of the weight loss because of the inflammation. So I've actually lost 12 pounds of inflammation doing this program within the first 2 weeks. But that is not what it's designed for. It is lifestyle, not weight loss, just to keep clarifying.
But if you change your lifestyle, what comes with it?
But if you change it, you do lose weight. That's very true.
Yep.
And then we actually have a phenomenal weight loss program called Blueprint to Weight Loss. And it is designed on losing up to 30 pounds in 30 days. This one specifically targets all 8 root causes. It comes with a little bit of supplementation to help get through that process. And it's all just designed on losing the weight, truthfully. And it's permanent weight loss. I love that word because it's permanent weight loss. I actually lost 25 pounds doing this before I had Caitlin. And the only reason I gained the weight back was because I was in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It's kind of hard not to gain weight at that point.
And it happens, I've heard.
It does. It does. And so, yes, this is a absolute phenomenal program. It is to permanent weight loss. It's only 30 days. I think anybody can give 30 days a chance. So if you are looking for something that's permanent to help start you through this process, if it's really something you're after, let us know, because that's what this is all for. Just letting you know what's out there and what we can do to help. or what else is out there for you, even if
And really, Medical Mondays, like she said, just letting you know. We
Letting
want to
you
let you know what weight loss is, kind of how it affects you. Some great options you can do at home. There's other things out there. And then, of course, there's a few things we do here.
Mhm.
But the imperative thing is that it must be achieved. You've got to lose the weight. We cannot stay in an unhealthy state for that long. Just unfortunately, like the CDC notes, it's linked to every other disease. So, your morbidity, mortality, basically how long you live is tied to weight.
Yeah,
So I
it
hope
is
you learned a
huge
lot
factor.
about weight and some of the great options that are out there for you guys. And then
Yes.
we'll see you next Monday.
Yes,
All right.
next Monday. All right. Bye, everybody. End. It's over. End.